Hi there, it's me, Kate, extreme to you internationally, linguist, founder from Lingua and Lingua Plus, and I'm an actress. And today we're talking about healing accent shame, and unlocking our authentic expression. I know it can be painful, and probably you've been told to lose your accent. Maybe you have a strong accent. Maybe somebody wanted you to sound more fluent. Um, but you need to know, first of all, that your accent isn't something that you need to hide, right? It's something more that you need to heal because there is a wound about it, right? Because it's about your voice. It's about your expression. And I've talked in other videos about pronunciation training and how to work on your accent, what to do. Today is slightly different because I've had it myself, and I would so many times when somebody would shame another person for their accent. And the thing is that when we act, like we perform actors, what actually happens that we can, well, reclaim our voice, yeah, and we can speak with authentic confidence pretty much in any language. So first of all, if you've been learning languages professionally, probably you have accent anxiety. Or maybe you've had strong accent and a lot of people were shaming you for it. So accent anxiety. Um, Teachers correcting you, right? Harshly, especially strangers mocking you. So probably you would start avoiding speaking up because yeah, you feel shame. It's okay. It's emotional. It's not intellectual. And it triggers your nervous system. You may start freezing to speak. You just freeze, right? Or you overthink because you start overthinking every sound, or you just feel like outsider in your own voice, right? So what happens is that your body remembers moments of embarrassments, right? It's like muscle memory. But then what we can do, we can reverse it. We can look at acting and we can be like, okay, what can we do? Acting is not about faking. Acting is about freeing. It's about freedom. Because you can step in into a new role and you can borrow a voice or maybe a posture or rhythm. So what happened that psychologically you create distance between you and your fear. Hmm? And then over time, this borrowed voice can become a bridge to your authentic one. So, for instance, maybe you're in English, you're afraid to speak because of your R's and T's. I don't know. But then maybe you play a character that is bold, yeah, and playful and loud. And what happens is that as you're playing a character, your brain, your nervous system doesn't protect you anymore because you're performing. And that's interesting because in neuroscience, there have been studies about so-called self-distancing that showed that using a third person, like a third person perspective on performing, yeah, acting, reduces our self-judgment and also increases fluency. I've seen it personally in singing, how people sing and everybody has like perfect pronunciation, funny enough. And then, yeah, in acting. So what happens? You get different accent methods. You have, or well, for instance, Meisner repetition or other techniques where you free up your instincts, like natural instincts. And also, um, well, whether you're a kid or an adult and a drama class, you'll probably speak better than in a language school. Can you imagine that? Speak better from accent point of view, pronunciation. And there, we can talk about language alter ego, talk about it so much, but here I think we're talking more about a persona that you can create in the target language to practice. It can be either your alter ego, your language alter ego, in a language, like one of your versions, or it may be somebody completely different. It's up to you. Like kids play with imagined characters, Superman. But you can give person here a name, even backstory, a mission. Or it can be you, but like from a different perspective. What if you were completely American or British or whatever, still having your roots? And then you're becoming that persona and you speak. What's interesting is if you try it out, you will notice that there is a shift in your confidence, in your tone, maybe even in your grammar. And the thing is, because there is less self-judgment and there is more freedom, you will hear your true voice that is unburdened by past pain, by past traumas. Just empowering, right? So what happens is that you're shifting from shame, from trauma to play. And when you play, of course, a mistake can be actually a choice. Because in accent, it's no mistake, it's a choice. Maybe a pause is a dramatic bit, right? Mispronunciation, maybe it's your character is like flavor side, right? And every word becomes embodied. I've talked about it in other videos, how you embody your experience. So accent can shift, can color. And what happens there that you retrain your nervous system. You retrain your nervous system to associate speaking with curiosity, not fear. And I must tell you that I've been going through a lot, like because of many languages. I've been working, as you can imagine, since I was a kid with different teachers, right? Different traditions, different schools. And I've been shamed a lot for the way I would speak some languages. And then I got completely confused between like British and American and all, like getting, to very good British pronunciation. Then suddenly I would be ashamed for my British pronunciation by Americans and then learning to shift and then learning actually even now, how to distinguish and how not to mix them up. But it takes time just because, listen, if you are living in a particular let's say community, maybe let's say it's European community where there is only, let's say, European way of speaking English or European, well, like Spanish way of speaking Spanish, and all other, let's say, varieties of English or Spanish or French or German, so on, not really exist in there, maybe like in your circle, then of course, like you will be, well, need more time. Maybe you're struggling a bit, and it's okay. Like, just remember that it's possible to learn accents, to switch between accents, and especially when you are performing, when you're playing, you open up this field, this playground where you can experiment and where you can hear yourself and say, "Oh, wow." Like I've noticed while acting, yeah, playing the past 2 months, and going from hello, how you doing? What's happening? To, shifting somewhere here and speaking this way, and there is a big difference. And then I am creating, like building up for my language trigger and other languages and all. But the thing is that even if you have a strong accent, um, for the sake of fluent communication, of understanding, yeah, that others would understand you, you could work on a reduction, like accent reduction. But it doesn't mean that you have to reduce your accent completely because then, it's about your background, your roots. Maybe you want to preserve your Frenchness, right? And have a light French accent. Like a light accent in your English or Italian, but you know what I mean. So you can play around. You can even have so-called hybrid identities, hybrid personalities. Why not? It's up to you. I feel that when we are in big cities and um, cities like cities like London, New York, Berlin, where we encounter people from all over the world, it's a bit difficult to stick to, let's say, one personality, one identity. So probably it becomes hybrid. But when we are in towns that are more local, there we can say, okay, here I'm going to be just let's say French or Italian and nothing else, right? Or maybe like there is like you can still talk about your background, but be like, now I'm Italian, right? And it's okay. It's about playing out. I'm still, doing my research, or I'm talking to people, investigating, just like trying to understand better how it works right now, the social dynamic. But in any case, there are a few ways how you can use accent to heal accent shame. So you can go with repetition. Yeah, repetition with emotion. I've talked about it. Yeah, specifically here, a few videos. You can take a particular phrase, I'm sorry, I love you, I miss you, whatever, and say it like you're angry, you're loving, you're terrified. The idea is not to change words, but to change the feeling. See how it felt just like repeating that one. Then mirror work. What you can do, you can practice short dialogues, maybe as friend, with peer, with teacher, while watching your expressions. So you can take a mirror, or maybe you can, video record yourself and observe your face, what's happening here. Whether you look confident, or you look expressive, or you look connected, or what if you change your emotion, whether you can read it, yeah, what happens there. Then, of course, another really cool one could be about monologue. You can record a monologue. And with monologue, what you can do, you can take a short script. You can use target language, of course. Maybe, from a movie, from a book. And what you need to do, you need to come up with three different situations, three emotional situations. Maybe, again, you're sad, you're angry, you're confused. Do it three times in three different iterations. Record yourself, watch yourself, learn. Just like study yourself how you appear on camera, but like not, for the purposes of filming YouTube, but actually for the purposes of emotional expression, how you express yourself in that language. You could also record yourself doing the same exercise in your native or most comfortable language and then compare and see. Remember, I talked about in other videos about emotional accent, how our mimics differ from language to language, from culture to culture, but we tend as well to bring that mimics like the system from our native and most comfortable language to our target language. Watch it. So it's also about that, just watching it out. Then, of course, you can improvise. You can improvise building up your language alter ego, right? So in conversations, playing with tone. Um, the most important here is like letting go of perfection and asking yourself, okay, if I am now becoming that person, like Caterina in italiano, uh, cosa si dice? Cosa significa? So, what does it mean for me? Like in my case, for instance, with Italian back in time, I grew up on Italian movies on the Roman Empire, like history, and like I grew up like say around like European history, arts. No, like my parents really like invested their time to that, meaning that I knew, like, I know, but like back then, like when I was a teenager, when I went to Italy for the first time, I knew maybe not as much as an average like Italian kid, but I knew a lot. I was caught up to date, what to talk about with my Italian peers, and I felt already pretty home. If you feel that you're not there yet, what you need to do watch, see what you like in Italian, let's say pop culture, art, history, right? Music, and then based on that, on the sociocultural connotation, see how you can be integrated into the Italian society, for instance, who you could be. Could you be a servant, a helper, entrepreneur, etc., a teacher? So it's always about kind of mixing up personality, identity in a way, who I could be, and then how can I express myself in that language, and which parts of me, which like which facets of my personality, my main one, yeah, like big one, could be expressed there through my personalities, like language personalities, language alter egos. So play with that. And then, of course, it's about affirming your accent. Remember that your voice matters. Your voice matters. Your voice is unique. And you can have different ways of expressing your voice. And your voice will be changing like a lot. Especially if you let's say have operations with your teeth. I need to like film a completely different video on that, but like have operations in your teeth, if you had any operations in the upper side of your body, if you had any accidents, or maybe you're wearing aligners. So all of that changes your breathing, that changes the way how you even like chew, how you pronounce words will influence your accent. And then, of course, where you were born, where were you raised, where you lived, where you moved, where you've been traveling to, who you've been talking to, what you've been watching, listening to, all of that influences all your accents across different languages. And you just need to be patient with yourself and compassionate. And then, depending on your goals, you can always let go of perfection and say, hey, if I don't sound 100% British or American, but if I sound even like 80, 90% with like slight light accent from different parts of the world, that's fine. You can just go. Like I've been talking about it in a pronunciation video, like on British, that there are different types. It could be really, deep and all, and like, ha, but it could be also quite open, more like European one, because European is closer to the British one, but it's more open, and American is really open. It's like British horizontal, American vertical. And if you speak like European one, it's fine. It's more neutral. If it's say Spanish again, whether it's Spanish from Spain or whether it's Spanish from Mexico, because it's like most neutral one for the entire Latin America, it's fine, and so on. And then you can learn to play with accents. And no matter what, um, your accents have a story, and you can have multiple stories. And that's the beauty of being multilingual and multicultural. And you don't have to lose completely all the accents. You just need to find your voice in every language you speak, and every culture you appear and you express yourself. And then just learn how to play, how to feel more freedom, how to get rid of shame, and then how to act and perform and have fun. And if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in new videos. Bye.